What's up?
What's
All right, everybody. So I'm here with another episode of Live with James, and I have here the great Brooke Dunbar, sporting her stylish hat right now for everybody. And like I said, we do these every Thursday, interviewing an agent that's killing it. So I'm really excited to have Brooke here. She's going to be talking a little bit about her business, but also just how to create a brand. One of the things that I noticed about her, her brand has been everywhere. If anybody follow her on social media, you can actually see what she's been able to do. But Brooke, um, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get started. For those that don't know you directly.
Absolutely. First and foremost, thank you, James, for having me on your platform. You know how much you mean to me. So thank you so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke Dunbar. I am the CEO of Brooke Dunbar Real Estate, and I'm the CEO of Regal Legacy Group. So I do everything real estate from investing, residential, commercial, the whole gambit. So that's who I am. Got into the business because I was forced into the business. I was laid off from my corporate job, and I said I will never experience a layoff again. And my husband and I both were laid off 2 weeks apart from each other. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, and we said we'll never do it again. And we decided to sow every dime or every penny into starting real estate, into starting our legacy.
Man, it's so many people that kind of got pushed into real estate.
Mhm.
I'm sure it was something that you always probably was looking at and wanted to do, but sometimes you got to have what I call those spiritual bumpers. Those that end of the road before you actually get serious and go 100% into it. Um, do you think that you would have left your job if you not have got laid off?
Oh, James. Oh, James. So no, I wouldn't. Stephen and I, that's my husband. We both worked for corporate jobs for years. We were so stagnant. Fear, we were instilled in fear, like living paycheck to paycheck, just scared, just didn't know what to do. And I always said, if I had an opportunity, I would. And it was a really good girlfriend of mine who kept pushing me. Brooke, you could do it. Go to night classes, do real estate school. You'll be great at it. And I kept saying, no, I don't have the time. I have two small children. I work full time. There's absolutely no way. But I prayed, like, I was praying, God, open up the doors, give me a sign. And that layoff, baby, when I mean to tell you, I threw my hands up when and I got that call that I was laid off. I'm like, God, this is my out. This is my out. I got a severance package. And when I mean to tell you, every penny to the penny was sold into this business because I said I'll never be in this position again. I will never ever be in a position of somebody else in someone else's hands to say, girl, I'm gonna take your paycheck from you. I'm gonna lay you guys off. So that's what I did. And I just full throttle.
Man, like I mean, you're saying a whole lot in that because you basically what you're saying you invested in yourself, you invested in your business, you invested in your opportunity that
Mhm.
or your dream,
Yep.
which is real estate. Now, have you always wanted to be a real estate agent? Like what was that journey like?
So glad you asked. So I moved to Atlanta in 2006. Back then, it was like fix and flips was like the thing. So I'm like, okay, I have a college degree. I'm gonna go down there. I'm single, no children. Let me make something happen in this great city. But it just I met a lot of investors. I kind of like learned the game, so to speak, on the investment side. And then lo and behold, I got a 9 to 5 and I worked that job up until the time I got laid off. So for over 11 years. So yeah, I always wanted to branch in. I didn't have the guidance, the confidence, and the support, that I needed to just do it. But I will blame that on myself and the confidence in myself. Because like I said, I could have did it back in 2006. But you know what? It's better late than never. And now that I have the opportunity, it's no limits. We're unstoppable.
So did you like? with the fix and flips, I mean, did you have your own personal investment properties that you were doing at that time, or were you just helping other people?
Helping, yep, helping, looking for buyers, just kind of like learning the business. It was more so learning it, to go into investments, helping buyers, collecting buyers, going to seminars, hooking up with other investors, and not so much on the residential side, really like being a realtor, but more on the investment side. But no, back then I did not acquire any properties for myself, just learning the business back then.
Okay, all right, good. All right, so you go full into real estate after they kind of pushed you out, out of the nest, so to speak. We'll just say it that way. They pushed you out the nest, so you had to fly, and you took the money from your severance and you put it all into real estate,
Mhm.
as far as kind of building the whole thing. One of the big things that I notice about you is your brand. I'm looking at your picture in the background. I'm looking at turning your dreams into an address,
Mhm.
and I see your brand, and you're pushing that brand, that same lady with her hands on her hips, standing there like a superstar, a superhero. So I'm seeing that like everywhere. So
Yeah.
like, was that something that you envisioned from the beginning, or was it something that you kind of learned and built into? Like how was that process for you?
James, you wrapped it up. It was a vision. So, it was almost I had such a hunger and a desire. Like it was, I think when we started the brand, the business, we like Stephen and I sat down and like, okay, we want a full service real estate organization company. So we started off with the brand. Like I'm a people person from birth, so it was almost natural to me to and empowering and inspiring for me to do this, to build my brand, to be out there, to introduce myself, you know just so yeah, so the vision was there from the beginning to brand myself. Facebook, Instagram, all these free platforms. Why not take advantage of it? Why not, do your videos, introduce yourself to the world, and be that change agent for someone else, to inspire someone else to do it. Like I said, I come from humble beginnings, and this was something that I was, like I said, it was just godsend. It was just, I turned that could have been tragedy situation into a triumph situation, and that was just a mindset. And I think that's what helps me is the attitude and mindset in my branding, to just go for it, not thinking, oh, will somebody like this, am I doing too much? Nope, I don't think about anybody else. And what this is what Brooke likes. Brooke is going to do it whether you like it or not. So I think getting out of that comfort zone of, will somebody like this, into, as long as I like it, I'm pushing it and I'm going. You know what I'm saying? So it was just the confidence. I think that's what it's in my brain. It's the confidence to know that I can go that extra mile or keep going.
Yeah. I always say that, basically what you're doing is you're attracting people that see you, that see your vision, that see your brand. Like, you don't need everybody in this business. Like, for the folks that don't like what you're putting out, then those are not your clients. Those are not the
Exactly.
people that you want to work with. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's enough people that will like what you put out there, your content, your brand, that you can sell real estate for the rest of your life, right?
yeah. Yeah, absolutely, because it's genuinely me. When you start looking at, and I teach a lot of my mentees too, don't look at what someone else is doing. Like, get into who you are. We're gonna be fall in love with you, whoever you are, because no one can be you, and that's our superpower. Like, we're naturally and genuinely, uniquely us. So put out who you are. You can, build and may get inspiration from somebody else. That's great. But once you are naturally and genuinely you, that's who people fall in love with. And I think that's what my brand is. I'm just who I am. That's just who I am. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna love on you. I'm gonna inspire you, whether you like it or not. And I'm sorry if you hear the boys in the background, guys. Fulton County, we are virtual learning this week, and I have a 6 and 10-year-old, and sometimes, honey, I was like, be quiet, but if you hear them in the background, my apologies in advance.
Yeah, yeah, no, no problem. I mean, all of us are having to deal with
Oh
this new
gosh.
normal, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah.
With I'm in the Gwinnett County, so our kids actually they didn't close school, so they actually was able to go. And I know for some people it's like,
Look
oh,
at you, James.
yeah, I know, right? I
Yeah.
got my freedom back, so but it's cool. One of the reasons why this is our first episode of the year, right? Going into 2022, which sounds crazy to say
Mhm,
2022, but going into 2022, one of the reasons why we really wanted you to be on board is
mhm,
because, like, for most agents, um, you know, they don't have a brand really. They're just you know XYZ real estate agent, and
mhm,
a brand is something that you want to put out there that's going to make you stand out in the marketplace.
absolutely.
And it's going to be
Absolutely.
something that is going to attract clients to you rather than you having to chase all the time.
Mhm,
It's really important to establish that. And like you said, you had your vision beforehand, and then
mhm,
you had your confidence in you being enough.
mhm,
I never forget. It was an agent that I was talking to before, and she was, we just had the conversation about, her abilities to sell, and
mhm,
one of the things I told her, I said, look, you are enough. If you put your information out there, you put, what you are about, you are enough just in of itself to
mhm.
attract all the business that you want. You just got to put it out there, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, you are your brand. Treat your business like a business. Never be scared. You know what I'm saying? Look at these great multi-million and billionaire companies who started from humble beginnings, legitly. Like they did. Just you are treat your business like a business. And that's, I think, where it's a non-negotiable for me. Like it's just a non-negotiable. Treat your business like a business. You are your business. You are your brand. Your brand is your business. So go full throttle with it.
Now, are there some factors or some people that has helped you to grow your brand over the years, and in order to like know where to put it and things of that nature, or was it something that you just knew that this is what I need to be doing, this is what I need to say, or did you have like coaching or some people that was able to impart into your life?
I would say they're the inspiration. So, my EXP family, top producing not only agents but business owners. I just seek inspiration. Reading and collaborating with Sharmitra, who's also a EXP realtor. Just learn, getting into my circle. So was it like one specific person? It wasn't a specific person. It's a gambit of people, an array of people. I'm a part of the Signature Entrepreneurship Mastermind Group. They're big. I mean, they're taking my career to the next level. I can't really share what's gonna explode in the next month or two, but they saw something in me, James. They said, as far as public speaking, they'll put me on the spot in a group or a room full of people and say a guest speaker is coming up, Brooke Dunbar, and I was never on the roster, and they'll just put me in it because they like, you got it in you. If you got to think about it, you may doubt yourself. We're gonna push you to do it. And that's when I spoke, that opened up an opportunity for me to go into a different direction. And I can't wait to share it with you guys. But I think networking, Stephen and I were out networking in real estate, going to these meetup groups, meeting people, and don't go into real estate as a realtor thinking you're in competition with everybody, because going into it collaborating, and that's what I love about EXP. It's not a competition. We want to see each other win. You have to get out of that mindset. Not saying you can't be competitive. You of course be competitive. What we do, that's natural in our craft, but collaborate. Learn if somebody is going in a direction or in a field, commercial properties, collab with them, like, and if they not willing to help you, guess what, there's a 100,000 more agents who are like, yes, absolutely, we're gonna win no matter what. Together is the best. I say together we're stronger all the time, because we are. And that's what I love about EXP, because I've never had a situation where someone was like, I'm too busy, I can't help you, and vice versa. Nah, if you need help, I'm there. Let's do it.
Yeah,
Let's do it and let's win together.
yeah. The culture is so different.
Hmm.
I've been at other brokerages before, and like you said, I mean, it was very competitive because there was no culture to help, or there was no incentive to help, right? Here, we're all owners, so if you do well, I do well because I'm an owner. I own parts of the company. If somebody else does well, then I benefit because I'm an owner. So I'm sharing my best information. The likeliness of somebody at another brokerage giving you their best listing presentation or their best marketing system to gather listings in the area that both of you all are working in, slim to none.
Hmm.
They might give you some little tidbits here and there, but they're not going to give you the best. They're not going to tell you how they're picking up all their listings. They're not going to tell you, what they're saying on those listing appointments to get those sellers to agree to list with them over and above everybody else. They're just not going to do that
Hmm.
because, your competition. But here, the collaboration is so much different because we're all owners and we all win together. So I love that aspect of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. Yep.
One of the other things that you mentioned as well was like how you gotten pieces from everybody. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, and your whole process was it like you were saying, like networking. You're going to all these different events. You're looking at all these leaders in the industry, and now you're becoming a leader in and of itself. Just being able to step out there and speak to different folks, and public speaking and things of that nature in that whole process. So was that something that you just kind of just knew to do automatically, or was it something that you kind of pushed yourself into?
I had to push myself. James, I'm telling you, like even this interview, it's always something. I may get nervous, but the thing is that confidence. I have to push myself every day to go that extra mile. No is not a bad word. It's in the dictionary. So if you hear no, it's okay. Keep it moving. Like, and people will respect you. The people that told me no are people calling me again, like, look, let's do business, let's jump on board, let's do something. And it's okay, and there's no love lost. And but the thing is, don't have a defeated attitude. We're gonna win. If you hear no, okay, no. But the next, and we're gonna keep going until somebody says yes, until the door opens. So you gotta have an amazing attitude. A bold, coming in bold. And that's what I said in 2022. I'm coming in bold, I'm coming in confident, and I'm coming in intentional. I have a legacy that I'm leaving for my children. You know what I'm saying? So it's like no games. We going in it to win it.
Man, I love it. Going in bowl in
Yeah,
2022.
absolutely.
That's a nugget for somebody out there.
Yep.
Going 100%. So what are some of the like the future things that you're looking to build towards? What does Brooke look like in the year of 2022?
Whew. Well, James, like I said, we're doing big goals. I want to touch at least 100 families this year. Our investment part of the business is growing. We're, because it's full service. So just continuing to do what we're currently doing, but maximize. We want to beat the goal from last year. You know, like I said, touch 100 families, bless 100 families with being homeowners. I cannot stress. We could have a whole Facebook live on just the benefits of being a homeowner,
Mm.
just by yourself. Like, I went under contract today with a couple I've never even met. They're out of Ohio. I just helped their relatives buy a house last month, and they're like, Brooke, we want it. We want to work with you. Like, literally, I've only talked to these people on the phone. So it's just the power in your willingness to help somebody else. So just like I said, doing what I'm doing now on a maximized level, taking, taking it up several levels. You know what I'm saying? So yes, so increasing, helping families. I even want to start acquiring and I believe I shared this with you and Levi too, but acquiring apartment buildings and just blessing families, and preparing them for home ownership as well. Just, hey, you're gonna own, you're gonna rent for a while, but let's prepare you. People are not preparing these renters with education or educating them how to be homeowners. You know what I'm saying? Get that 12-month lease or that 24-month lease, but that's it. And then keep it, and then let's buy. So just the education piece. I'm a certified mentor now with EXP. So just blessing my mentees, being there, being genuine, but also having boundaries and not overexerting myself. I think coming in as a new agent, oh my goodness, it could be so overwhelming because you want to be that rock star and that superstar. But now me being seasoned, having boundaries, and you can still be successful with having boundaries. So I want to throw that out there because you need boundaries, and you can still be successful with setting up your planning and having boundaries. But yes, to answer your question, do what I'm doing now, but at a maximized level.
So what are some of the branding things? I mean, because like I said, I know you got Facebook, you got Instagram. I imagine LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff going. I mean, like regarding your post,
Mm-hmm.
are you going to be posting more, or what does that look like? Kind of increasing that whole brand awareness.
Correct. Yeah. Posting more. I'm not going to overdo it, So I do my inspiration every morning. I do my inspiration post, and then I do my Brookisms. And then I'll do my post, and I may
What
get on
say
there.
that again? Is the
Brookisms. My
Brookisms? Okay, all right, okay.
my book quotes. So I do that. If I have a listing, I'll do like, a tour, or if I acquire a new investment property that we're fixing and flipping, I'll do that. I hired a videographer now, constantly taking my pictures to content. Content is important. Whether you're doing your own pictures, like at the beginning, money was tight. I didn't have no photographer or it's that was like my phone. I'm clicking, doing, tweaking it, doing my post. Start where you are, and that's something big. Wherever you are, start. Don't say, okay, well, I gotta save $10,000 and I gotta hire. No, 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 no. If you got $50 in the bank, start with your $50 in the bank, and you start with whatever you have. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how you're going to build. That's how you're going to build your name. So start where you are. If this is a career for you, or whatever entrepreneur venture you want to go into, start where you are. Start today and start where you are today, because you'll keep pushing it and pushing it off. So yeah, I hope I
Yeah.
answered your question because I went off on a tangent.
No, you're good. You're good. I mean, but I think that's important, because a
Yeah,
lot of people, they don't know to start where they are.
right.
They look at some of the pictures that other people are doing. They might see like your background poster of yourself standing there like a
Mhm.
superhero, Shiro or whatever,
Uh,
and they see that and they're like, oh, I got to do that, and because I can't do that, I don't do anything.
mm.
And it didn't start off that way. I mean,
Thank you, James. It did. It did.
yeah. So,
Yeah, get your step in repeats. I mean, that stuff comes with time. Let the people fall in love with you first. I think that's what it is. Fall in love with you. You fall in love with yourself. You be confident in yourself is going to exude to the masses. It is. But I think my thing is the confidence. It's the confidence level.
yeah,
Your confidence level. Yeah.
yeah. Quick thing. How I started building my brand. I
Mhm.
picked up this right here
Yeah.
and I hit record and I
Yeah.
said, and I started speaking to
That's it.
it.
That's it. And I remember when you and we first met, and I wasn't even on board with EXP yet. And like I said, I love my EXP family. I mean, it was more less win. It wasn't y'all trying to get me to come over. It was like we built, y'all were sharing nuggets with me before I even jumped ship. You know what I'm saying? So I just think coming into this industry, get your network with great minds. Sometimes not like-minded people. Get with a group that's powerhouses, people that are like that you got to reach them like that. Like you want to be around because that's going to elevate you. That's going to set you apart. That's going to challenge you. Sometimes, like-minded people, I mean, you may have great ideas, but it's also good to get to the smartest person in the room. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Because that's what's going to challenge you to be greater and better from yesterday.
yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking back to that first time we sat there, and I
Breaking
forget
bread.
it was a restaurant
Yep,
in
breaking bread.
Buckhead.
Yep, yep, it
That
sure
was,
does.
what was the name of it?
Dantana's.
Dan,
Yep,
we was okay at Dantana's. We
yep,
sat there. We had some great food and
yep,
some nice drinks,
yep,
and just talked about what the future looked like.
yep.
And just kind of sharing with you some of our experiences. But I mean, honestly, I knew from the grip that, like, hey, you're gonna kill it, and you was already killing it. You was already a rock star. It was just the right platform to even take it
That's right.
further.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so glad. This was like I said, a blessing. So I'm glad. Like I said, it's your network is your net worth. So network. You can't do it alone. Network, network, network.
Yep, yep. So man, all right. So if I'm a brand new agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we've all been there before, and we've talked about what they should do to start, having confidence in themselves. Um, what do you think is the number one thing that would help that agent um, in order to be successful?
As a brand new agent who just joined a brokerage firm,
Yes.
do your trainings. That's first. Get going to real estate school. That gets your license. There's nothing like that hands-on experience. Look, shadow. Go on like listing appointments with whoever your mentor is. Get a mentor. That's first and foremost. Get your mentor. That's number one. Then start asking some agents, hey, you have a listing appointment, can I like shadow you. I think getting in the field and learning that hands-on training is so far different than in school training, because you're getting like the logistics, the stuff that you need to learn to pass. But you need your mentor. Build your network of agents, whether they're in the same brokerage firm or maybe outside. You may have a friend that's already a real estate agent. Hook up with them to maybe tag along with them when they're showing property or where they're doing listing appointments. Or so that's number one. Get you a mentor.
Yeah. So all right. So I'm gonna ask the same question, but this time I'm gonna ask the question about somebody that has been an agent
Mm-hmm,
and they're a successful agent.
mm-hmm,
However, they they want to increase. That, I mean, that's how I was. That's how you are. Like,
mm-hmm.
you're already a successful agent and you want to take your business to the next level. What advice would you have for that agent?
So whatever that next level is. So say for instance, it's commercial. Oh, I think I can make more money in commercial. The spread is bigger there. Get with a top agent or an agent who just focuses on commercial. It's just, I think sometimes when I think too much into something, I sit back and I say, let me get back to the basics. If I want to learn how to do XYZ, let me get with someone who's doing XYZ. So just get yourself back to the basics. And that builds your network, and that's how I got a deal one time. An agent just could not service a certain area that I service and was like, boom, here you go. But I would have never met that agent if I never networked with them from the beginning. So I think getting yourself out there, um, building those relationships with other agents, they could be from different brokerage firms, and that's how whatever you want to be great in, whether it's branding, get with someone who you can see they're on Facebook or their brand is everywhere. Get with them because they will share that information with you. So that's what I do personally. If I see someone killing it and that's something I want to go into, that's who I'm going to. Hey girl, hey guys, share your information with me, or how can we collaborate, or let me take you out to dinner, let me take you out to lunch, let me take you out to coffee, to sit down for some coffee to collaborate. Yeah, those gestures go a long way.
Yeah, I asked you that question on purpose,
Mhm.
because I felt like you was gonna give the same answer, which it
Oh,
was the same answer, which is get with somebody that's doing what you're doing and be able to network and copy what they're doing. I mean, it's literally the same answer for both questions. Whether you're a
Correct.
new agent, whether you're a seasoned agent, no matter what.
Mhm.
Pierre Nadal, he's actually one of our partners in our group as well. Pierre was selling 300 homes a year,
Mm.
killing the game.
Little
You know,
Pierre.
300 homes a year. Pierre was.
Yeah.
But however, when Pierre made the transition to connect with the group, Pierre went from 300 homes to over 500 homes.
Awesome.
See, so it was simply because he got connected with
That's right.
people and started copying and doing
Yep.
what other people was doing was success. For most people, 300 homes are very successable, but to the
Mhm.
person that's selling 300 homes, they want to increase. How you
Absolutely.
increase? You get with somebody that sells 500 homes.
Yep. At 100%. And once it's like you're getting information from someone to do what they're doing, but because we're so unique, that's our own spin, and we're making that already goodness into something greatness because we're putting our own spin in it. So, like I said, your network is your net worth, like, and that's 100% true.
Yeah, yeah. I always make the joke about myself, and I'll say like, I was a C student in high school, and I occasionally got an A and B depending who I was sitting next to.
Hmm.
So that's that's
No,
that's that's what it
yeah,
is.
and that's what and look, and it take confidence to do that. Look at what you writing on that paper.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, but it's been awesome, Brooke. Just like I said, first interview of the year, coming off of
Woo-hoo.
you, just kind of talking about everything. It couldn't have been any better. I mean, I know people definitely got a lot out of it. Once again, we're doing these every Thursday at 11 o'clock, interviewing an agent that's killing it in their industry. Brooke, I appreciate what you've been able to share. I appreciate our partnership together, and I mean, I'm loving your growth and your process and taking it to the next level. And I can't wait once you be able to tell us
Ooh,
what that next thing is going,
I can't
what's
wait
happening.
either. I can't wait. Look, I can't wait either, guys. So it's gonna be not only blessing me, it's gonna bless everybody else too. So I can't wait to share it. But yes, much success, James. I'm like I said, no matter how big and successful you are, because that's what we see in you. Like, you're great. Look, if I call you, if I need you, you're gonna answer. If I call need Levi, he gonna answer. You guys are amazing, and because you're genuinely you, so I know this is gonna be super successful, and I wish you much success as well.
Awesome, awesome. If anybody's out there looking for a property or something like that to actually sell or buy, I mean, definitely reach out to Brooke. Brooke is killing it. She's a professional. If you want to know about how you can partner with, me or her, you can reach out to Brooke. You can reach out to me, and let's just have a discussion of what this whole thing could look like. Once
Amen.
again, Brooke, I appreciate you. I got to have you back once you're able to tell us. You got to go live with us again
Yeah,
to tell us what that thing is. You got me itching right now
Oh,
about
I
wanting
can't.
to
Oh,
know.
I can't wait to share. And also let me tell you guys, if you do want to reach out to me, let me give you my direct phone number. It's 404-668-4161. Brooke Dunbar Real Estate at gmail.com or Brooke Dunbar Real Estate.com. You can reach out to me and let's collab, let's grow, let's build 2022. We coming in bold, we coming in confident, and we're coming in intentional.
Intentional. That's it. To the next one. Appreciate it,
Yeah.
Brooke.
Bye, guys.